Man, the pro scene is blowing up. We have so many tournaments happening. We got the Worlds that just finished. We got VGL kicking off. If you missed the episode with BluBerryz I put out a few days ago on Friday, definitely check that out. He answers a bunch of questions just about what they're doing for this season's qualifier and the upcoming season one that's going to be kicking off. The teams are going to be great. The matches are going to be fantastic. Get ready for those. And then VPL, the Vainglory Premier League, just started in Korea. We got Monte Cristo shoutcasting those. We got a couple other professional shoutcasters as well. It's really great to see these names getting involved with Vainglory, and the games are awesome. We had a jungle Arden, like a carry jungle Arden. Like, that's awesome. And, my time on the full this week, been up and down. I keep losing Pinnacle Awesome during the week, and then I get it back on the weekends. But it's fine. Ups and downs. Still having a lot of fun with the game. Sometimes those casual matches are just super hard and a little rough. And I've been streaming a little bit on Camcord. Had that interview a few weeks ago. Also might find me on Mobcrust and Twitch. I'm jumping around all over the place. Wherever there's Vainglory, I am at. But this week, I got ShinKaigan coming on the episode. It's about time, guys. I got him on. Finally locked him down for the episode. So let's jump into episode 43.
Shatter the Vain, a podcast about Vainglory.
This is the 43rd episode of Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about Vainglory. Every week, I try to break down news, gameplay, game tips, and hopefully we can all become better players together. This week, I finally got Shin on the podcast. Welcome.
Hey guys. Good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
For people that don't know who you are, which is kind of impossible, I feel like, if you're playing Vainglory and you don't know who Shin is. But do you want to take a moment, introduce yourself? What are you doing?
Yeah, sure thing. So, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is ShinKaigan. I'm a Twitch streamer, and you can usually catch me Monday through Friday. And I mostly focus on trying to help players improve their skill and mainly trying to cater to answering questions or showing builds. I even started a YouTube series called School of Shin, which is completely dedicated to making guides.
Yeah, you just started it. You got like 2 videos up. A third one maybe just went up or is about to go up.
I have most of it done right now. I just need probably tomorrow to finish it up, and then send people will be able to watch it.
Okay. Do a lot of people that watch your streamer, you think they're new people to the game and like you're trying to introduce them to the game, or is it kind of range a lot from old school people that are VG to all the way down to just getting started?
Yeah, it's a fairly healthy mix. Like, I have a lot of people who are still like in POA, VG range, just like to hang out or chat. But then also people who literally just maybe picked up the game and they don't even know like what the difference between weapon power and crystal power is. And yeah. I'm like glad to cater to like any level of play.
Yeah, and you've been streaming now since really the game launched in November, right? That's kind of when
yeah.
Were you on it beforehand? Were you on the beta, or not the beta, the pre-release in Singapore?
Oh no, I literally stumbled across the game on release day. It just was a complete coincidence because I had originally streamed League, and during that day it was down, so I needed something else to stream. And my friend was like, "Well, I heard about this game. It sounded pretty good. You should go check it out." I'm like, "Well, MOBA, iPad,
yeah."
But I'll try. And then sure enough, the rest is history.
Were you streaming League like kind of full time before this? Or, like, you've kind of now started streaming Vainglory pretty much full time, but League, was it kind of like when you could?
Yeah, League was more like just kind of for fun, and it didn't really go too far. Like, it's really hard to actually stream it in League.
Yeah.
Plus, the community isn't as friendly, I feel. The Vainglory community, I really like.
Yeah, everyone's trying to promote each other, help each other get better, and just share each other's streams and stuff. That's what makes I think Vainglory community great, unlike League, where it's like, no, man, I can't tell you my secrets. I want you taking my viewers.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's good. Did you ever think that you would where you'd be now from where you were in December, November?
No, not even close. I was even pretty mystified that SCMC would even have invited me back in December to the layer because at
Okay.
the time I had, I don't know, maybe 30 viewers at a time, like capped.
Okay.
And I felt like I was a no one. I only streamed the game for like a month, and they had invited me over. And next to like other big names, like Don John was there,
Nice.
Nika Knight, Alvaro, like, and I was like, just this dude that just started streaming it.
That's nuts. And now you're pretty close with Super Evil. Like you're hosting dev streams with them, and like
Oh yes.
I feel like you're almost talking to them on daily. You're hanging out with devs and Nibmit and them, seeing photos all the time.
To be fair, we were friends before he was a
Okay.
dev, so you know.
All right, good point. How was hosting the dev stream? This has been the second time you've taken it over, right?
Yes, and I also did the dev stream well, for the server downtime, and I did it again on Friday
Okay.
with Playoff Period.
How was it? I guess this time versus maybe the first time you did it.
Well,
Does it feel about the same, or do you feel like is it more pressure now, or
I
is it more
actually
pressure
feel a
then?
lot better doing it now. When I did it the first time, I was still relatively new and kind of uncomfortable with the whole thing. So the prospect of having like I don't know, a couple thousand people watch is just like, oh my gosh, right? But now it's become more of like a regular thing, and I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
The server downtime stream though was a little grueling, if only because it actually ended up going for like close to 7 hours, I think.
Yeah, that was nuts. I know I grabbed Nibmit right afterwards, and he was exhausted.
Yeah.
Man, it seems like a lot of fun, and now that you're able to do it pretty much full time, that's kind of awesome.
Hmm.
Is it,
It's been pretty much like a dream come true, I would say.
so on the stream every day, you're playing like was it like about 6 5 6 hours a day, right?
Yeah, like four or five
Okay.
usually.
And then you play like every role. Do you have a favorite character? Is it still Glaive? I'm sure these are questions you get asked like all the time, but I want people to have it here on the podcast
Oh
too.
yeah, no worries. My favorite used to be Glaive, but I actually started to pick up Rona, and I love her more than like any other character right now. She's so
Oh,
much
okay.
fun.
Did you see the matches? I'm sure we'll get in the news, but the Worlds matches with Rona.
Yes, I was so excited. Up until that point, no one played Rona other than like maybe me. And if I even played Rona, like if for instance I would play her in ranked
Hmm.
on stream, and they're like, "You're taking Rona in ranked?" I was like, "Yeah." And it's like, "Really? Aren't you just trolling your teammates?" I'm like, "No, that's my best character." Like,
Yeah, it sometimes takes those pro players to play it, and then it trickles down, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is accepted. Okay, no problem.
And then, yeah, when I first heard that Stan Smith of Brothers was playing Rona, I like immediately hopped out of bed and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to watch this."
That's nice. Yeah, I haven't played a lot of Rona. She's not like necessarily someone I gravitate to, but she is fun, and when she's on a team, she's like just nuts the amount of damage she does.
Hmm.
It's like overwhelming. And I think that's maybe what this patch has been like really nice as just like freeing up people to play whatever they want and wherever they want to.
Yeah, that's been pretty nice. There's hasn't been like a few other heroes have come out that are pretty strong, but none are like so overly dominating like old Vox or maybe like
Hmm.
old Scarf 1.4.
Yeah. And if you were telling people to get started in the game, like, would you recommend Rona or do you recommend Glaive or like those first time people that come to your stream?
I usually recommend for first time players to play Ringo
Okay.
because he's probably the easiest to pick up and he's cheap and he's almost always in the free
Sure.
rotation.
Yeah.
So, and none of his skills require you to aim. It's just whoever you're currently shooting at. Like one's just a speed boost, one slows them, one shoots the Hellfire brew. So there's no skill shots involved. just hit buttons and then win.
Right, and practice tapping as fast as you can.
Hmm.
Once you get that stutter stepping down.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Should we jump into the news? We got some fun stuff happening around Vainglory this month.
Yeah, sounds good.
Vainglory News.
So first up in the news is patch 1.7. I feel like it's been a long time, but it's only been like a week and a half now. But to me, it's been like just so much has changed, and I've put out like a couple episodes here, but it's only been a week and a half. How's the patch 1.7 been for you so far?
Oh, pretty good. Like Glaive has actually been making a pretty big comeback. A lot of top teams have been playing him, or I've been seeing him at like high elos. So that's been pretty cool to see. CP Vox made a big comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just wrecking teams left and right here. But I actually think the one of the strongest is actually Ringo in this patch.
Oh, really? Okay. We're seeing a
Yeah.
lot of people still running that Ringo Vox comp with the tank in some degree. Like that was the Worlds comp that's still being like played a lot. So it's not bad. What do you think made Glaive better this patch? I think it's D Nominee who's always like, he hasn't changed since like 1.3. Like what? What makes him so good this time? Why is he overpowered? That's BS.
Like sometimes things don't have to, the character itself doesn't always have to change to make it more like on the higher tier. Like other people can get nerfed, for instance, or just the circumstances of the game have changed, or people just discover a build with him that was less known. So like imagine if you could just picture a race. If there was a guy in first, guy in second, and guy in third, and you took out guys 1 and 2, then suddenly the third place person is OP or a winner,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Do you think that's always just a thing with MOBAs? Like somebody is always going to be number one or number two, no matter how much they can balance and kind of level people out. Like someone always has to be the best each patch.
It ideally it wouldn't be like that, but it is a very difficult thing to do. If, for instance, I did kind of like when back when CP Jewel was considered very strong, or like
Yeah.
pretty much OP by most, but then the meta started to develop around CP Jewel itself and picking a team comp that can handle her. And
Yeah.
because of that, she actually didn't make much of a splash at all in any of the ESL games. So that's what I would like to see. Like usually a hero will become strong, and then comps that are good against X hero will become strong, and then now you got to find a comp that's good against that comp, and then so on and so forth.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe with Glaive being strong now, people kind of figure out, this person is really good against Glaive. Let's start playing him because he's probably picked, and yeah, it's fun. I think we see that a lot. I know you watched a lot of League. Since you played a lot of League, we see that as the meta shifts all the time with the different laners and different people that are strong in that front as they like try to counter each other.
Yeah.
This patch has been really fun though. It was just a quality of life patch that just made things so much better. Like the minions not disappearing in the bushes has been like just one of my favorite things.
Oh man, I absolutely love the fact that I can stutter step on the EU server now.
Okay.
That's been my favorite change, because before I just got so mad at the fact that my character would like kind of do that rubber banding thing and not shoot.
Yeah.
But now I don't really run into that problem at all. Also, Catherine's done. I haven't had bug out on me since then, so that's been a nice thing.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that either. I haven't jumped on the EU server like just you jump around back and forth, but I haven't had the reason to jump on the EU server yet to try out that the auto attack kind of thing they changed. It's nice. How have you been seeing the jungle rotations change now that timer? The fights have been like kind of way different in the high tiers. Like it's whoever can shop first still.
Yeah. So instead, before, it used to be whoever was strongest level 1 pretty much dominate the jungle, because they'll just full on invade you. Now, that tactic doesn't work too well because you have to waste a lot of time trying to get there, thanks to the fact that minions spawn at 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So usually teams will start the back camp, then rush their way to the shop, quickly buy, and then if they can buy before the other team buys, then they'll win that fight.
Right.
But at least you have somewhat of a chance there.
Yeah. Have you, so what was it? The other day, someone was telling me like they've been skipping the big healing minion so they can get to that shop first. And then I've also been trying, as if I'm the laner, maybe I'll give like a couple auto attacks to the healing buff minion to kind of like speed that up for them. Like, all right, like almost a leash. Like I'll help leash that so you guys can get to the shop quicker. Have you been seeing anything that people have been doing?
Yeah, I've actually been trying to experiment with that myself, like the whole laner help leash it, because even a couple auto attacks might give you maybe a second or two off your clear time, which could be enough to just to get into their bush and buy.
Yeah.
I have heard some people trying to skip camps just to get it in there. So people are still trying to figure out like the most optimal way.
All right. Well, I think it's gonna keep changing, and then at some point, it'll everyone will figure it out, and we'll all go back to fighting the same way. I still haven't seen too many pedals though.
No.
It's just it's sad.
Oh man, now that you bring it up, I don't think I ran into pedal once ever since the patch. Like maybe in a private game, but never in like ranked or even casual. Now that I think about it.
Okay. Maybe we'll see a fix to her. Do you think we need to make her like more crystal or weapon? Like she was kind of so strong with that weapon power breaking point, just damage because of her range. Do you see her going back to being a weapon carry, or are they trying to tweak her to be like a crystal carry again?
From what it looks like, they're trying to take it in a crystal direction because you saw they had taken down the base damage of the minions, but also up the crystal ratio. So that's what they want to steer her towards. The only difficulty about playing her though is that she has good range, but she's also immobile basically. Because she has no dashes, no jumps, no way to speed up her movement speed other than
Right.
like boots. So certain heroes like Taka, Glaive pretty much eat her alive,
Yeah.
and they both happen to be very popular right now. So
Some pedal just falls out. With her like becoming more of a crystal carry, like I've heard people say like Super Evil's pushing us into a crystal hero meta. Like we're like with the CP Vox becoming strong again. Jewel's pretty even both ways, but we have like a lot of CP heroes at the moment, or at least it feels that way.
yeah, there's been quite a few like Celeste and Vox see a lot of play. But there's still a good amount of weapon heroes that show up. Ringo probably one of the most played that I've seen. Usually goes with
Yeah.
like the tension bow, sorrow blade, and then like the minions foot spam. Right? They'll have like two, yeah, or so. Just like go ahead and crit all day. Weapon glaive has also been very popular.
Uh huh.
So I think it's fairly balanced. I would say.
Okay. I think the thought was that abilities are more fun to watch. Like we're gonna talk about like the tournaments coming up here, but like abilities are just more entertaining to watch than auto attacks.
That's probably true. If I had to watch, I would rather not see. I would rather watch like Jewel completely delete a team with a gigantic laser than it is for one guy to just shoot someone over and over and over again.
Yeah, and seeing that Celeste just drop balls over and over again, her heliogenesis, it's just more fun than like two auto attacks from a Ringo, and it's like, oh, what happened? You can understand. I think as anyone who's like new to the game understands, like, oh, that was the ability. That wasn't just a click on them.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, so if you're enjoying this patch, I hope you're everyone's playing more heroes and just having a lot of fun with it. I haven't seen too many bugs from it or issues people have been having, so that's a huge plus, and I think kudos to everyone at Super Evil and everyone that's helping out making that patch even better. Next up in the news, we're going to get a little bit, like I think, tournament and pro heavy here for a minute, but the VGL, I have BluBerryz on Friday. We talked about the announcement of VGL. It's the Season 1 qualifier kicked off. This is pretty exciting announcement. Have you organized your team? Are you ready for it?
Oh man, I actually don't know if I'm gonna be participating as a
What?
player. Yeah, I know,
Oh, okay.
right? Everyone expects me to be like a competitive player, but it's sometimes tough because you have to commit to play on that level. You have to commit a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd rather I'm just kind of cheering my guild on from the sidelines. So I might show up as like a sub,
Okay.
but
Yeah, it's what is it, 128 teams from each region, and it's a lot of teams and a lot of games that are going to get played. It's pretty exciting. And since this is the qualifier, it kind of lines up with season one that we don't really have an official announcement from Super Evil, but they said it will line up with their season one kind of happening at the same time.
hmm
So I'm excited. It's pretty great that their VGL is going into their own studio and their own, getting more shoutcasters, and it's fun to see them grow from where they were 6 months ago. Just a couple guys at their house.
I know, right? Oh, one of the interesting things I think about BGL is they actually have a different rule set from what they had before.
Okay.
Like they have the draft mode pick and global bans, so that's actually going to affect gameplay by huge amounts. No mirror matches, bans on both sides, and not to mention like just that's not something that we've seen before yet. It's not
No.
even in the game really, so it's hard to even try to practice it without having to have teams to scrim.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to see how like some of the best players can adapt to that kind of thing.
Yeah. So if you don't know what the draft mode is, it's going to be where Team A picks one, and then Team B picks two heroes. Then Team A will pick two more, and Team B will get that final pick. Um, I wonder if this is also a test for to see how it's going to work and how players react to it, and if it becomes something we see in the game, a draft mode later.
Yeah, I really hope so. That was one of the things I've been asking for like a while now
Okay.
because it's I think it would help diversify the character base when I know what I'm picking into. So obviously, you just mentioned that Petal's not too popular, and she gets picked off by like Glaive and Taka. But if I knew for a fact that they don't have Glaive or Taka, maybe I could, justify picking Petal, or maybe someone else that's immobile like Scarf or Celeste.
Yeah.
And there's more counterplay there and tactics.
Yeah, and I think it'll be fun to watch not the same mirror comps too. I think that'll be more interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big one.
I'm always surprised in ranked or even casual. It's like, really? When you run into a mirror comp, there aren't that many heroes, but you're like, really? You all picked the same
Yeah.
random 15 people too? All right. But if we add this draft mode, I wonder they'll probably change ranked a little bit and maybe like kind of set us up for that season one that's gonna officially happen and make it feel more like a ranked rather than just like a try hard casual mode.
Yeah, yeah. Just give it a entirely different experience.
So get your teams together. Guilds can have two teams from each guild, and player they can have up to 5 players on each team. So you need some subs, which is always useful to have because most people that are playing this right now are not getting paid to do it. So family and life comes first, and work and school. So someone's always got something else to come up. So I recommend having subs on your team if you're thinking about starting a team. And then the next tournament that's happening, we got the first game the other day, but this is the VPL, the Vainglory Premier League in Korea. This one is being shoutcasted with Monte Cristo. If you've followed League of Legends at all, you've probably heard of Monte Cristo. He's the famous English shoutcaster in Korea. I don't know any better way to describe him, but we got the
like
first match or the first couple matches the other night. I got a chance to watch Gangsters versus Tiger Phobia, I want to say their team was.
yeah.
And spoiler, Gangsters won, but we had this crazy Arden jungle by Team Phobia. And I think it threw Gangsters off a bit. I think,
Oh, man.
what do you think
Like,
about damage Arden. Or
It's interesting. I've seen it played around a few times, and like you could use blood for blood to do some damage, and
uh-huh.
because you're using Vanguard yourself, often you get blood for blood more often. And he's naturally tanky, so there's that to it too. I have even known a couple players on the EU server that play kind of that, but
Okay.
other than that, I haven't seen too much success from anyone else. But I mean, I trust that Tiger Phobia is a good team, so they wouldn't have just ran it just because they must have tried it a few times.
Yeah. From watching a lot of League, you see these like off meta picks sometimes, and they throw the other team for a loop. And I think they can win with them if the other team's not prepared to be like, hey, don't, go away from our plan. Let's just, stay with it and, don't worry that it's Arden, like treat it the same way. But I want to try it. I think it seems like a fun thing to try.
Oh yeah, I've been also trying to mess around with like a lot of weapon Catherine and things like that just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
And I always encourage people, like, even if it's not in the meta or people kind of look at you funny just because you wanted to try it, give it a shot because you never know when you might find the next like OP build, right?
Right, yeah. It does get hard though to play those off meta things sometimes because, man, you play a lot of private games, so you are able to do that. But in casual queue, it's almost harder than ranked queue. Like people, I think, try harder because they have nothing else to lose. So it's like, oh, let's go invade, and like, oh, it's like I just wanted to farm and like see if this build worked. Like, back off.
Hmm. Oh, and let's not forget the question mark spam.
Oh yeah, that's right. And yeah, if you're playing that jungle Arden, it's like you're just gonna get pinged the whole time. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? But you can mute them now, so you got that going on.
Yeah, another good feature of 1.7.
But I'll include a link to the scheduled broadcast, and basically over the next, I think, month and a half, we have a whole bunch of games being played. They're like almost every other day, I think. Because we have Group A, B, and C, and they've been played. They're always at off times, so you're probably gonna have to watch the VODs or the YouTube videos if you want to like see what actually went down. Um, and then next bit of news is PAX. Super Evil is going to be at PAX in Washington on August 28th through the 31st. You're super close, man. You going?
Yes, I will be there, and I will be actually working at the Vainglory booth. So if any of you guys are
Okay.
going to PAX Prime, make sure to stop by and say hi. I would love to meet with all of the players.
Are they going to have a booth? I think it said at the Twitch booth. Are they going to have a real booth, though?
I think it's like an offshoot of Twitch, so
Okay.
it's like I mean I was there at PAX East. I assume it'll be something similar to that, where there's the Twitch main booth, and then off to the side of it there'll be like a station for Vainglory.
Okay. I think with all that money coming in, they could get their own booth now.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man.
But it seems like Super Evil has a really good relationship with Twitch. And so I think it's a good promotion for the two of them. Anything, are we going to see some show matches again? Anything
Oh,
that you've heard, or
oh,
is he just going to be showing
I
off whatever the new hero is maybe again?
that would be pretty cool. I actually don't know too much about what they have planned, so maybe it will be even a surprise. It's probably gonna be a surprise to even me.
Okay. Because, that's August 28th to the 31st. Usually we see a patch that first week of the month, so we may get some fun reveals at PAX Prime. I think tickets are sold out, so if you don't have tickets, I'm sorry, you're out of luck.
It might be tough to get in.
Yeah, PAX tickets sell out so quick. It's not just become like this crazy event that you have to be like ready for like the moment they go on sale.
Especially Prime. I think Prime is the biggest one out of all the PAXs, so
Oh, okay.
those ones sell out really quick.
Nice. So you've been to PAX East. Have you been to PAX Prime before?
No, this is gonna be my first time, so I'm very excited.
How was PAX East like going for the first time? Like,
Oh, it was so much fun. Like there were so many different games there. I walked around, checked it all out. And what I thought was really cool because I hung out a lot in the Twitch booth. I
Uh-huh.
got to meet a lot of other streamers and talk with a lot of people. And I think that was probably one of my favorite parts. For instance, like that's my first time meeting like Fall Ferris and meeting
Mhm.
DZ, Freddie Lamb Chops, and a lot of just other like Gibbs would be. So many people were there. And it was just really cool.
Nice. Speaking of meeting all them, are you going to be at TwitchCon then? Like that's what, a month later?
Oh yeah, that one I probably won't be. I could
Okay.
only I could probably only afford to go to so many of those.
Yeah, this gets expensive going to all the conferences and different events, especially if you're not on one of their payrolls, right? Getting
Yeah.
flying around. That's awesome. If you could go to any of these events and meet the Super Evil team they usually have a booth and people are playing there. It just seems like it's a blast. I haven't been able to go yet, but maybe one of these times.
Hmm.
The last bit of news I'd like to mention is the free hero rotation. And this is a neat one because it's honoring the Worlds teams. So recently, the Worlds matches just matched up, or just finished up. The match was against Invincible Armada, and Divine Brothers. Invincible Armada won and took it home, which I think no one was that surprised by. After Gangstars was out, it was like, okay, yeah.
Hmm.
But this free rotation honors the heroes getting played or who got played. We had Glaive, Kashka, Celeste, Vox, Catherine, and Ringo. This is like probably one of my favorite lineups in a while. Like I'm a fan of all these characters.
Yeah, they're all extremely strong picks, and that should be probably obvious because they're honoring the teams that ran them in the World Championship. So any of those characters you want to try are
Hmm.
probably pretty solid.
Yeah, and that CP Vox right now, I've been practicing him a lot, and I have most of the characters now. I have all the characters now, so I'm not too interested in the free rotation. But it's nice to see it get changed, and if you're new to the game, like being able to play all these different people, because someone like Vox or Celeste is quite a bit of glory, and if you didn't stack up over the weekend for that double glory, it takes some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ringo's back in it. Ringo's usually free. Like you said, Ringo's a good pickup if you're getting into the game.
Gameplay.
So on the forums, I saw a topic of when to take Kraken. And everyone, has their own opinions on like when they should take it and if they should try to sneak it or even how to utilize it the best. Uh, what are your thoughts on taking Kraken? Are you a fan of just trying to sneak it sometimes, or are you always practical in the way you take and use Kraken?
It really depends on the situation, of course. Like, and I like it best to, you can use it to break a stalemate
Mm-hmm.
or help give that last little bit to secure the win. For instance, my usual tactic with Kraken is if our team is even a little bit ahead, what I'll do is I'll try to force a fight around Kraken or just sneak it straight up and then buy infusions
Okay.
and then end the game on that. Because if we are ahead, buying those infusions will just make us super strong. And if we get one good ace, then that's game, regardless of how many towers are up.
Right. Okay. Yeah, infusions, I have been seeing a lot more people paying attention to that and noticing and buying infusions. Like I think that has now become a pretty commonplace. People understand how to utilize them.
Hmm.
Um, I do love sneaking the Kraken. Like if you see them go back or you push them out and you can take it quickly before they get back, just to kind of make sure that they can't get it. I feel like that's always a solid plan as well. You may give them some gold, but you stop them from maybe like getting the push on you too.
Yeah, a lot of times, even if you like only take one tower, like that's okay. Because like you mentioned, sometimes it's risky to even leave it up because if they take it, they might end the game on that. So it's better for you just to send it to its death. kind of thing.
Right, then you have what is it, 4 or 5 minutes before it's up again,
Yeah.
and so yeah, you don't have to worry about it. You can go back to your stalemate or setting up bush ganks and hoping for the best.
Hmm.
Uh, what do you see people do like as far as like when you take Kraken? Everyone I feel like has gotten pretty good about like just let's go with it, let's help it out. But you still see some people who just like go back to farming or decide to go back to base for some reason. And it's like first off, when you get Kraken, you get like the ace buff kind of effects. You heal back up, so do not go back to base. Don't go back to shop. There's a shop right there if you want to pick
Yeah, it's
anything
like
up.
all convenient right there for you.
But you should push with the Kraken, right? I feel like unless you're really far behind and you're just like, just send it to die. We just had to get rid of it.
Yeah, in pretty much almost every case, I think it should be escorted down the lane, except if you think that if they manage to pick you off here, then you'd lose.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason why I wouldn't do it.
And then the last thing about it, like if you can fight at the Kraken, you probably should fight the other team, right? Like don't try to fight for the Kraken, just trying to get that last hit. It's like, it's hard to time, right? You should
Yeah,
fight the other team.
like a lot of times I would just, assuming I'm at good health, I would probably try to pick off some of them, especially if they're trying for like a desperate kind of steal, like they're just hopping in there, or Glaive just afterburns in, or something like that. If my team is low HP, then I may just gamble and pray that we kill it, so that way we get the heal.
Okay.
But any tactic that involves praying and just hoping it works out is probably not the best.
Yeah, I don't even know how many times I've stolen the Kraken and also had it stolen from me. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You took it with that? Like I alted and did all this stuff and you still got it?
I know. I remember one time, like, I had used, I think it was like a jewel laser to try to secure it. And then I think a Catherine came up and used her merciless pursuit just once, and then it stole it. I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah. I think the hardest person to steal it from, though, is a Cruel, just because of that smite damage. It does a lot, and taking it from him is probably not going to happen.
Yeah, unless they also have a cruel, then you could use their spectral smite to damage it.
Okay. That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah,
Or if you're playing against me playing Cruel, who always smites too soon, it's like, oh. I never know how much damage it's going to do. Like, I think I always underestimate the damage. Or overestimate, I mean. Like, it's like, oh, it'll finish this off. Not even close.
Yeah, I don't know. I've done that a few times. Like, okay, don't worry, I'm gonna save my skill and secure it. I'm like, whoosh. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope, not even close. No.
So Kraken use it as to stop that stalemate or to, finish the game, or I think as the take it so they can't take it, right? Those are the three probably best ways. And like you said, always make sure you push with Kraken. So if you're new to Kraken, if you're new to the game, don't just take it because you see it up. Make sure you have the tactical advantage to, fight for it and secure it yourself without that risk of like being aced and giving Kraken away for free. So yeah. And one more thing before we get out of here. I got a showdown question for you.
Showdown.
So this is a new thing I haven't done before, but we take two characters and we put them up against each other. And I'm thinking Taka versus Kashka. They are primarily the same role. They're both like our jungle assassins. Who, at this moment in patch 1.7, you feeling would be like the go-to pick and why?
Oh, that's a tough question. Let's see. I find both of them pretty good, but if I had to pick one in this patch, it seems like I've been seeing a lot more Taka being played over Kashka. And that's because, actually, both of them received a bit of a nerf, but weapon Taka hasn't been changed too much.
No, yeah.
Because his passive is just insane. 100% crit, 125% cooldown acceleration, movement speed, life steal. Like, what else could you want?
Yeah.
And you can get that from like level 1. So he's just a super strong early dominant pick and is good at picking off squishy targets like Ringo, Vox, which again are very popular picks.
Right. Celeste's. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a very valuable asset. Kashka is still good though. She does a lot of crystal damage, and her Yummy Catnip Frenzy is one of the longest CCs in the game, like at 2.2 seconds.
Yeah.
So that one's really good. But I would give it to Taka right now.
Okay. Uh, I feel like Kashka's the easier one to play. So you did see a lot of her, and you see a lot of new people picking her up. But yeah, Taka's, I hate Takas. Like I'm a bad Taka, and when they're on the other team, I just like I have to kill them. I get so mad at them, like jumping around and like sneaking around. It's like, you son of a gun, man! I'm gonna kill you and get
Oh
you out of
man,
there.
like that's probably the one that makes me the most angry out of anyone because he'll always get away at super low HPs, just box out,
Yeah.
or maybe he'll use Chitin at the most inconvenient time and dodge your attack.
Yeah. So the showdown goes to Taka. And if you're building Taka right now, you haven't seen a huge change in the build, but I feel like we're going for more of that sustained build. You're still rushing that tension bow, I think, on most of the time.
Yeah, that's generally how it's been done, and it does kind of like a Ringo-ish build. They usually buy a lot of lower tier items because he is in the jungle, so he doesn't get as much gold.
Right.
But they'll go like tension bow, maybe start working towards like a sorrow blade, also some attack speed, and maybe some minions feet, which is nice because he always crits, and that bonus damage is nice.
Yeah, that's true. And then if you want to give Kasha a try, even though we're saying Taka's a little better at the moment, I'm seeing everyone get one crystal bit and then getting a fountain right away, rather than rushing like a big tier 3 item. Having that fountain to help your team because you're going to be in the fight all the time it seems to be working out for people.
Yeah, that's probably the most common build, and that's because Fountain is such a powerful item. Like whichever team has more fountains done by around like mid game, usually wins out on those fights. And especially since Fountain no longer has that 600 HP like cap, so to speak, where like you get reduced healing. It's
Yeah.
nice to have, and if you have one or two on your team by like mid game, you'll be good.
Right, and Kashka, since she's the jungle carry, she probably will get it before the support gets it too. So your support can also like maybe rush, the Atlas or the Crucible if you need it, uh, depending on what the other team has. So relieve some of that stress. But give both these characters a try. They're both incredibly fun to play. Taka's annoying to play against, but if you get good at Taka, he's fun to play. I think that'll do it for episode 43. It's getting late for both of us, so I don't want to keep us too long. But Shin, anything else you want to mention or let people know you're doing before we get out of here?
No, I think that's good. Just I want to make sure that like if you guys are looking for any kind of like guides, make sure to check out my School of Shin channel. I'll be posting weekly on like how to improve in solo queue or how to play certain characters. So yeah, that's basically the main thing. And of course, if you wanted to go check me out live, make sure to look me up at twitch.tv/ShinKaigan.
Okay. What time do you go live? It's usually around lunchtime your time.
Yeah, it's usually 10 a.m. Pacific to 2 p.m.
Okay.
on Monday through Friday.
Yeah, check that out. I usually try to at least stop in every couple days and say hi and hang out for a little bit. But I'm usually working, so don't spend too much time there. But yeah, it's always great to see what you're playing, and it's great to see you helping the community and what you do for all the new players. So, nice work there.
Thanks.
And yeah, I'll include a link to the School of Shin, the Twitch, your Twitter, all that good stuff, so people can follow, like it up, and check you out. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please make sure to follow as well. On Twitter, it's at Shatter The Vain, /Shatter The Vain on Facebook, and the website, shatterthevain.com. All the episodes get posted there. We're doing these video versions now. I wanted to make sure I had the video working properly before I had you on, since you had the Twitch broadcast, needed to see your face for this. So it was a good time to have you on. Thanks for watching. Shin, thanks for joining me.
No, thank you for having me.
Shatter the Vain.